live forever. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I burned your letters, and I'm just forgetting about you. I'm just forgetting about you.
Definitely think Sen has a really good chance to bounce back, given that kind of the reason they stumbled in stage 1 was burnout.
I think we were able to reinvent ourselves, which is something that we didn't really have time to do coming into the last split.
Got plenty of time to work with, but then backs towards the one angle where Ten's decided to just go walkabout.
I'm excited to play Sentinels because Sentinels got 10s. It'll be my first time playing against 10s, and gotta have some fun now.
And it's going to be catching the spike, potentially with this kill. Yep, dropped out. This is the nightmare scenario.
We need to play this game and win. I have a lot of good ideas for some tweets after. It's going to be hard, but I'm sure we're capable.
Welcome back to VCT Americas Super Week. Now we've officially reached the halfway mark. There it is, the halfway mark. 5 matches down, 5 to go. Now up next, it's your Sentinels versus Cloud9, and I'm Geek Heavy here with Athena, Mimi, and Ender. How y'all doing?
Great, wonderful after that first game.
Yeah?
Prediction correct.
It was more of a stump than I thought it would, especially towards that second map. But G2's looking legit still. A huge recovery from week 1.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about Sentinels though. I really want to talk about some of the comp changes that we've seen from that camp. It's been pretty cool, I would say. And that's putting it lightly.
On some fronts, right? They're still rocking the old school stuff on Split.
Yeah.
No real surprise for them. But the big shocker to me was pivoting away in the span of 1 week from the deadlock comp they were running on Lotus, the double Senti move, into that breach.
Yeah, and I mean, we heard in Kaplan's interview that he was alluding to the fact that this is something they wanted to lean into, having multiple looks and options. And anytime there's a big patch like this, it has significant change to agents, is a massive shift in the meta. I think there is a lot of potential to still be able to play your old stuff, but also throw in new creative ideas. And I think it adds a really good element to Sentinels, which is going to make them a tough team to prep for.
Yeah, I mean, they can also use it to kind of play against whoever they want to play against. They'll have the play style kind of difference in their comps, being able to use whatever they need to be more aggressive comp-wise, or being able to have a better defense side if they feel like it's going to be a little weaker against whoever they're playing against. You always have that kind of ability to take it one step further in the anti-stratting sort of side.
I will say, I think for Split, they're probably just going to stick with this and not run a second one.
But it's also leaving in a few weeks.
The shelf life on this map is, we've got 2 weeks of it left, 3 weeks of it left, something like that.
And a lot of teams are banning it anyway, too.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Earlier, Elizabeth caught up with assistant coach Drew Sparks. Let's take a listen.
Hear from you, because we don't get to hear from you too often, but we're hearing from you now. How hard is it to prepare comps with multiple different comps and multiple different play styles?
It's not too bad. When you've got a bit of extra time and you have flexible players, it makes it a lot easier. And honestly, I just get all my ideas from Reddit, VLR, and just implement them. So really, it's them doing the work for me.
Do you give credit to them or no?
No, of course not.
No, why would you give credit to them? You don't deserve it.
Well, there you have it. They're doing all the work for Drew Sparks. You heard it.
No, that's a liar. Me when I lie live.
You think he was lying? I think he was telling the truth. I don't know. Well, anyways, this week, Sentinels slugged it out with Crew and picked up a much-needed win. I was really, I mean, from what I saw from Sentinels was just really impressive. Mimi, what was your take on this?
I feel like this game was a little closer than some people might have expected, but I think people are still underrating how good Crew is. Sen in a tough matchup here, I think made some really good adaptations towards the end of this game. I think they did a great job, especially of shutting down Kesnet in this game. Tens and Zekin, that star duo that's always been great for this team, had another great week. Combining that with John QT, having some awesome calls, I think especially on Split, still proving to be so good at that map. This is a win that gave me pretty high confidence in Sentinels for the rest of the stage.
I feel like while I was watching them, I noticed that most of the issues that were kind of going on were just small mistakes, little small repeatable mistakes that could be fixed going into the next week. It's stuff like crossfires, not holding each other's angles, or even just unfortunately getting the gamble wrong into what site they wanted to end up going. And so Crew also, I agree, they had a really good kind of read on how Sentinels were playing, but I think it definitely just came down to which team was cleaner at that time, and Sentinels really had it out for them.
They've got the good foundation to work off of. I don't know. That laid it all out.
Sorry, my bad. I took your point.
No, I mean, you're chilling.
No, I feel like, I think it's safe to say Sentinels, they've definitely been revitalized now, and they're coming back even stronger. I mean, they've had a pretty impressive stage 2 so far, I would say.
Yeah, I think they've been doing really well. I feel like with with 2-0. I mean, originally the first week obviously we just talked about the comps, having the different comp, and then going to the next week with a different one. I didn't think Sentinels was the team that was going to do that. I thought it was going to be like maybe an EG, which they did. But I did not expect it from Sentinels. So I'm just like pleasantly surprised by their first week.
Yeah, I also think it was honestly a good strength of schedule to kind of rev back into it. Starting things off playing MIBR, I think an opponent they're really heavily favored against, and then playing a crew. I think that for the team, it's going to build confidence in themselves to feel like they're starting to get back into that form they were striking towards the beginning of the year.
100%, and they were like spending time on that beach. I remember that. Now, both of these teams are in the middle of the pack in the standings, and they need every single win they could possibly get. As you can see there, looking at the standings, I mean, C9's just on top of them. I mean, like, all it'll take is just one win, and we'll have to see where Sin gets placed.
I mean, getting this win means they have the differential over C9 in terms of that head-to-head match, which is really important for these teams that are so close together. They're both staunchly upper middle class teams in the standings that are just a few wins away.
How we're describing it.
It's a way to describe it.
Also, with just like 2-3 games remaining for most of our teams, like just getting to 6 wins is a very, like, that puts you in a very good position to advance into playoffs. So this game for either of them could hit them onto that mark.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now let's move on to Cloud9. They're coming into Super Week off a tough loss at the end of Week 1. Now their offense flatlined against G2. I mean, it was 13 kills and 9 failed attack on the attack side rounds, which was just nuts.
Not a lot. Yeah, I mean, this Lotus was a big surprise because I feel like Cloud9 was playing really solid VALORANT throughout this series. I think that they should have won that Ascent game. Their Flood retakes looked really good, but their attack side struggled there. And they had a super dominant icebox here to bring us all the way to this Lotus attack side where, honestly, G2 just out-called them.
Yeah, straight up. And, like, I did want to shout out, like, they were playing, like, the Reyna and stuff on icebox. It looked, like, very solid for them. Big ups to Oxy on that. But not winning a single round on your attacking side of Lotus is just not acceptable.
Which, by the way, is the most attacking-sided map in the pool.
Yeah, that can't happen.
I mean, I don't even know for me, like, if it came down to counter-stratting or it literally just came down to it's third map, everyone's running out of gas, and Valorant was just, like, out-calling, like,
and
crazy.
I do hate to bring it up, but there has been a history with Cloud9 of running out of gas, of choking away some of these leads in the past with this iteration of the team and before. Remember how dominant they were in the regular season stage 1 to then kind of not quite show that same form in playoffs. Like, this is a squad that has struggled to close, and they absolutely should have last week.
I would say, too, it was a little bit odd seeing how they were prioritizing who was taking first fights. Like, I think Zepp on the get-go had 9, the most on his team of opening engagements, and that was not a pretty number for him either. I think that was also something they need to be looking at moving forward in their Lotus games.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? Let's hear what the duelist Oxy had to say to Elizabeth before this match.
All right, Oxy, the people need to know, will you be playing Neon today? We want it. So will you be playing it?
Today... Hey, I want to say we'll be playing Neon, but we'll be playing different agents, is all I can say.
Okay, spicy, okay. Do you prefer to play any duelist? Like, do you prefer being on the Reyna? Do you prefer being on Jett?
We can do, hey, Phoenix? Hey, we haven't seen Phoenix yet. Maybe a Jett, maybe some Yoru, some Neon, some Reyna. Hey, I don't know, but hey, we'll see you on stage.
Hey, you know what? Let me just say, today we get to see Oxy and Zekin go head-to-head. Thank you so much to the scriptwriters.
Because I think he is the best representative in VCT of the average Valorant ranked player.
Yeah, 100%.
He's got the Valorant accent, that's for sure.
It's so funny.
I would say he's C9's vibe merchant too, I would have to say.
Yeah, I mean, there is only one vibe merchant, and it is Zelsis. But he does bring the energy for this team for sure. He was popping off in this first series we saw from them in stage 2.
And this is no surprise for Oxy, right? Like, he has been lights out all year long. I will say he has been such a shocking rookie to sort of come out here. He was also talking about how it was kind of cool for his first chance to actually go up against 10. So I think this will be a fun matchup for him as well. Not just that, but also Zekin, whose race was absolutely lights out the other day.
Yeah, I feel like there was so much teasing about the comps being changed in the duelist, but personally, I don't see Oxy or Zekin kind of switching off of their true
Zekin's perma-locking Raze.
Yeah, like I feel like we're going to see them sticking to what they know goes well, and I'm not mad about that because both these players are just so explosive in their play style, and everything that they do just works.
You don't think Zekin will play Neon this stage?
I don't I don't feel like he should. Raze works so well, but I have heard a lot of the players just complain, saying like Raze is just so slow now. So it depends how they're trying to.
Yeah, but I think it's because Sentinels haven't really played the Neon maps.
They did
right?
play Sunset, but they haven't played. Correct me if I'm wrong. Lotus or Haven yet?
No, no, they have been playing the Lotus, but they've been playing the Raze on it. Yeah, of course, and obviously they're split too. So I don't know. I think it's more of a map pool thing, and we will see them tested. And I think there will be angles for Sentinels to run something other than just the boring the Raze.
Yes,
but it's not boring when it's second. That's my big thing.
No, it's boring because he just wins every time and like kills everyone, and that's kind of like I'm kind of over that.
That's so tough to have to watch that.
But who do we think is going to put up the most numbers here?
Oh,
low key, it might be Oxy. I don't think Cloud9 is going to win, but he has just been the quality of performances he is having, even against like the best teams, is it. I think also they put a lot more into him, buying him hero rifles when they're on an eco, putting a ton of resources in. I don't think Zekken gets quite as many resources, and they don't do as many set plays, but I think he is excellent and probably a better player
did you see
overall.
his movement with the dodging rockets going up the zip line? I feel like you got to respect the game. The one clip. Yeah, hey, we saw it though. That's evidence.
No, I 100% agree with Mimi though. I feel like
You think it's Oxy?
But
not because
they
I think
set
Zekken's going
him
to diff
up
him.
so well.
Okay, fair.
And so consistently, they depend on him to go kill. And I feel like
he needs to go kill if they're going to have a chance today.
Yeah, well, you know what? Let's send things down to the stage and get things underway right now.
Riot Games Arena! We have two more North American powerhouses facing off. Let's bring the first one out. Give it up for Cloud9!
This is the moment. Gotta one up my opponent. Back then they ain't noticed me, now they know it's me. I'm the chosen. It's my time, yeah, I put that on Bible. No excuses, gotta get to the final. Take all of my idols and turn them to rivals. It's all or nothing, man, the trophy is vital. Game time, bet I'm coming in clutch. No hang time, man, they can't keep up. The game's on the line, seconds on the time. Who can't fight? It's gotta be us. Yeah, under pressure, go ahead and let it fall on me. I'm destined for it all. You better call on me. They say what doesn't kill you make you stronger. All that pain, it done made me to a monster. They say what doesn't kill you make you stronger. All that pain, it done made me to a monster. Yeah, whole lot of times they doubted I wouldn't be who I am without it.
And now let's bring out their opponents. I don't think I have to ask them to make some noise, but make some noise for your Sentinels!
Stage 2 has seemingly revitalized Sentinels, giving them a new lease on life. But is it possible for Cloud9 to knock Sin City off the map and start working their way north of the equator and grab a spot for the Stage 2 playoffs?
It's very possible. Cloud9 had a great start to their year after making some changes. I think surprised everyone by how strong they were in Stage 1. They haven't been able to pull it off when it really matters in playoffs, but they have a chance here to make an upset happen. And despite that choke in Week 1, I think they did show good form in that series.
I think either way, we're looking at a very good series. And right off the bat, I am very excited to see a Haven out of Sentinels. This is a map where, yes, you could still play the old school Jet if you are Zekken, but big options to be running the Neon and to see him branch out.
Do you really think he's gonna pull out the Neon though?
Actually, yes on Haven.
Ooh,
Actually,
okay.
yes.
I'd be down. I feel like Haven, It's just such a good fundamental map where each of these teams are going to be playing to kind of hit, touch sites, kind of pull rotations, and kind of abuse the kind of weak points around the map on this Haven. But I don't know. I feel like Sentinels, if they're still as innovative, I feel like we've seen a lot of fun comps.
Yeah, we have seen some interesting stuff on Haven. I kind of almost expect them to play like the like Breach, Sova, Neon kind of comp, because you can have Tens play the Omen and op on your defense sometimes. So we're getting a little bit spoiler there.
Yeah.
Second is going to just lock in that Jet, but he's great on the Jet. It provides you a really good power on your executes with the dash. The op, of course, is good. That's not super surprising.
Yes.
And it's basically the same over here, but with that Gecko instead the Sova, the distinction for Cloud9.
Yeah, the Gecko's pretty interesting because it removes some options from like your early defaulting for like a lobby control on defense especially, but it does give you very powerful flash combos both for attacking sites and retaking them. I think this comp can accelerate very quickly in the mid rounds, especially if they're holding onto their breach stun. They can use Gecko util instead of the breach to advance and then overwhelm on the sites.
Absolutely. Now let's get on to map 1 and send it over to your casters. Working the second shift tonight is Doug and Baby Bang.
The old saying is the best is saved for last, and there's no reason, Dre, to think that this match will be any different. There's bad blood, there's history between these two squads. Celsius going up against former teammates for the first time since roster changes happened. It's so good, man.
Yeah, and Celsius is basically the godfather of this C9 roster. He most notably made it right before leaving. He dipped out of there. He was like, yo, you guys take the reins, but I'm joining Sentinels. And that's when he thought he was going to be a sixth man. So he clearly had no faith in that squad whatsoever. And now he's going up against them.
The last time they played was in 2023. It was LCQ. Celsius was donning the blue and the white, and they knocked Sentinels out. They sent him into the lower bracket. Ultimately, they lost to Leviathan, but this is a matchup that, again, when you think about the history between him, between the rest of the roster, there's a lot to be excited about. Sentinels on the attacking side, they're going to be running that standard Jet comp with Breach over the top on Celsius, no less, and they've left Oxy on an island. By himself, has to give some of the space back, concede the area.
Yeah, he's so deadly with the Sheriff, though. He already got a tag earlier in the round on Tens.
Down to 48.
Play retake, yeah.
There's some of that space conceding that we were just mentioning. Tucks back into smoke, procs the dash, and is now ready to go forward. Recklessly, Saucy will be the first to fall. Zeppa joining in on the fun. Now you're starting to see Cloud9 flood back out, take the space away as Celsius gets active and pays for it with his life. John QT left alone. They've gotten Spike down, but can he pull off another magic moment? He's gotten it down to 1. Moose has gotten it to half. It's not planned for him. There's the swing. The shots do not land. Moose gets the pistol for Cloud9.
Moose with the stability closes out the round. The spike gets diffused, and it was that fast flood from Cloud9. It looked scrappy. It looked crazy at first. Oxy, he just dashes in, doesn't have a cloud burst because he invests into a Sheriff, but he's still connected regardless. Yeah, he gets flashed.
Yeah, stunned and flashed.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You saw him for, what, a split second, and just knows to just steady the shots right there. Nobody can be moving, and Johnny had a really good opportunity to close this one out, but just couldn't stabilize, and it's Moose. The one who's kind of just snuck under the radar a lot for this Cloud9 roster, but he's kind of been an anchor, like the glue almost for this team as well.
Yeah, he's been super steady. And I think there was a lot of discussion around whether or not he was the right fit for the roster, but he's answered the call. Cloud9 come into this match with some really interesting hopes and aspirations. Think about the year they've had so far. They hit the halfway mark at 5-1. Yeah, they fell short of Shanghai, and you know that one stings a little bit, but 5-1 with plenty of hopes, plenty of reason to think the Champs is on the cards.
Plenty of time to prep for Champs as well, or this stage 2, I should say.
Yeah, but they come out of it a little sluggish, perhaps. You know, they lose to G2 2-1. Zeppa's already fallen. Zekin's the only one who had a Stinger online. No armor left on the side of Sentinels.
Yeah, he's not sluggish, that's for sure. And that should be an upgrade for one more member on this roster. And we've seen how deadly the Stinger can be in rounds like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, he bought a hero one, but his economy is still really good. That's what happens when you get the spike planted and it comes down to the wire like that.
I think for Cloud9, as you think about the weapon upgrade, 3 members have full armor. So that Stinger doesn't really bite the same way it would otherwise.
Yeah, unless he can get really close up and personal in their face. At that point, it doesn't even matter, right? And it looks like Sentinels will have a free C site, and the breach of Rooney is not really close enough to do any type of fast flood here. I say that, but Spike is just now getting planted. There might be a window of opportunity to flood out here, but Second takes his own opportunity.
A second one as Vanity falls. And they managed to get the spike down. John QT's joined in on it. It's just Oxy. Now it's just Rooney. I mean, they've stolen this round away. The high-low, a bit difficult to navigate, but manages to do so. Numbers still the way of Sentinels. Still plenty of weaponry. What a start to this series.
What a start by the crowd as well. Already behind Sentinels. Home crowd advantage in full effect, and that stinger in full effect. I said it, the close range fights with that stinger. Doesn't matter what gun you have against it. Look at this. Up close and personal, in your face.
Vanity caught with utility out. That's so tough.
Yeah, that's what you want. That's exactly what Sentinels wanted. That's exactly what they needed to set themselves up for that thrifty win.
And so now it's Cloud9 who are on the back foot with just Pistol Zeppa as a sheriff. But other than that, Classics to work with no armor on anyone.
And the economy of Sentinels is already flourishing like crazy. Multiple players sitting at 3,000.
We'll see what the approach is here for Sentinels. They had a really cool rollout, as we saw in the previous round. And yes, that was off of the fact that they had a numbers advantage A. But we'll see if they do it again. The alarm bot catching Oxy up to his silly antics. Tries catching a timing, tries taking space away.
And he gets deleted for it. And that's going to soak into his mind for the rest of this half. I like the aggressiveness, though. I like that he's not scared. Oh, my gosh.
That was a wide jump swing. I mean, Vanity showed all of it and then a little more.
Yeah, and right now for Sentinels, no reason to really jump the gun on anything here. They're going to do a re-clear of mid after getting picks on both extremities. So now they have complete and utter map control. Yeah, they don't have any of these close short A angles cleared out, but John's doing that himself right now. Basically, the human drone effect as the pack goes towards C, and that fault line should be the key to get out of dodge and link back up with their IGL and savior, John QT.
Hey, he's gotten out onto the site for free. Zero resistance, as Cloud9 had no choice but to play in bunches, given the fact that they were down in numbers, down in guns. And so they will arrive a little late to the party, but arrive nonetheless. And presumably, we would think just died of the spike. You mentioned the economy for the side of Sentinels heading into this round and how it's already starting to balloon, and they can lean into it pretty heavily here. Given how the rest of this turns out, it's only going to get better. If you think about the guns that they have, yes, but they have 3-4 members who are not going to have to buy armor into the next round.
Yeah, and not only in terms of economy of their weaponry, right? It's the abilities as well, the ultimates that are coming up online. John is 2 away from that lockdown.
Right.
Sachi's 3 away from his Hunter's Fury. And that's why you're seeing John hunt for these kills actively. He's got a Spectre to his name. He wants to upgrade next round anyway. Same with Sachi, I imagine.
You mentioned 1 away from the lockdown.
He's got it.
Yeah, he's going to get it. Certainly not the way he had intended or the way he would have hoped. But he got his. Says Rooney will fall, Zeppa will join him at the hands of the spike.
But that is more than ideal for the side of Sentinels, for John and Sachi themselves. That's 2 orbs for Sachi in that round. It was 2 orbs for John. John gets that lockdown on this first gun round for Cloud9.
Finished.
Yeah, that was that deletion of Oxy right away, and the follow-up on Vanity, who, yeah, he jumped way too far out.
Tower down.
And just the easy breezy cleanup for the rest of the kills on the board. So it will be the first gun round amongst these 2 teams in this series, which we presume to be a banger.
I mean, it's already starting to deliver. And you mentioned the ult in the hands of John QT. You know, oftentimes when you see an ult in round 3 or round 4, it's because it's a Gecko who often has the crash. To see it on a lockdown is just so atypical.
Yeah, it was that 3K that he got on pistol. Yeah, he couldn't close it out, but still getting that spike planted, getting those 3 kills, closing out the last round as well. Here comes the C exec. No one here to reciprocate. Vanity maybe trying to get some spam. Has to back off now, and that will be a C site fully secured and locked down.
It was a different approach to it, too. You think about the last couple times they've hit this site, it's been through long, but this time a split up garage. They've got the lockdown, as you mentioned, that's going to buy so much time and create so much space. I think the other thing we have to mention here is Sasi and his positioning. Has the Hunter's Fury. Second and John get active. This is as easy pickings as they come.
disgusting proactivity in that moment, just understanding that all the members of Cloud9 are in these weird, awkward spots in spawn, waiting for that lockdown to go away. So the proactivity in that post plant from Sentinels, that was on point. That was a hard read as well. And now they're on the hunt once more. Why not? Your economy's already, I mean, miles ahead of the enemy team.
I mean,
worst case scenario, you drop, you get your ult.
They did such a good job of disruption there. When you can tell Cloud9 wanted to settle in and then strike together, Sentinels never gave him an opportunity to really get into that comfortable spot. So they now find themselves up 2 rounds as we head into the 5th. Also very quickly, just as we look over the silly antics one more time. I mean, that Hunter's Fury and the fault line combo was, I mean, it was gorgeous. Sentinels 6-0 in maps. Their last 3 times on stage, they haven't dropped a map. I mean, Sentinels have looked so good, and that goes back to stage 1 as well.
Yeah, their performance in Madrid, obviously everybody remembers that. A clear W. And now, yeah, they ran into some heat after Madrid. But for this stage too, they look reinvigorated, refreshed. And I think that's a testament. I think a lot of the players on this roster, in a lot of media that they did, they were even saying, you know, we just need a break. We're burnt out.
Big shot out from Oxy, but second on the trade.
It's a fast trade.
The kid's just been phenomenal, man.
It's been such a pleasure watching this kid grow, make it on the main stage, and now be a champion in his own right. That trophy at the end of the year would be the icing on the cake for him.
Yeah, it would. What a cap to the year. Fall line out. Second falling. Zeph showing he can build that thing just as well. On the swing, able to settle, able to drop a IGL on the opposing side. Now numbers the way of Cloud9. You're starting to see Vanity rotate and get to the party. Rooney here as well. 1 away from his Rolling Thunder. Worth mentioning is he gets it online, but you can't imagine he drops into a position like this.
30 seconds left.
In a 1v2. A tap of the spike, a dare, a challenge, a beckon for a swing, and only 1 foul. Finds the second! The Red Bull clutch for Sentinels.
I'm great. You're welcome.
And he was out of his chair for good reason. The crowd cheering him on. A beautiful 1v2. None other than Celsius.
55 HP.
And he knows. He was yelling something. We couldn't quite pick it up, but he was...
I'm sure it was family friendly.
Yeah, he was yelling
some
nice words. You guys are very good players, I imagine, is what he said.
That's exactly what that was. Zekin with an attack side op here. We've talked so many times about the financial situation they find themselves in and how it's just booming. It allows them the luxury of things like this to really deep. Alarm bot, that's the cue for the Rolling Thunder. They paid it out really well.
Look at the mechanics from second to get out of dodge. John gets punished though, so it's a good early round for Cloud9.
I thought there was going to be a punish off of that. Meanwhile, Oxy building it off of his own. I thought they were going to be able to mitigate a lot of that damage off of the beginning, but Oxy just begins to tee off on the other side. I think he saw a wisp of that TP as well. So now Tens patiently waiting.
What?
He puts it between his eyes through the wall. Unbelievable. And now the other waiting grazes by his ear. Batasi realizes as the corners close in, the round is done. It's a dead man walking. Oh! Oxy with 4, a flawless round for Cloud9. What a response.
Oh, what an insane response. I mean, the way that he just did that as well with full confidence. Yeah, it was Sentinels giving him one by one individual peaks, but I mean, Tens, he had no chance at all. Absolutely deleted. And this was a nice trap play based off that alarm bot. Yeah, it didn't punish Zekin right away, but Oxy, I mean, he just got easy pick'ems. That was a ridiculous shot. And all of a sudden, that young kid is ramped up himself, and he's ready to put some numbers on the board.
6 and 5 currently. Blades popped right at the beginning of the round. And the op in the hands of Oxy.
That short dart was broken by a teammate. Most notably Vanity. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, Sentinels were dialed in on that angle, ready for any type of reswing.
Oh, it didn't hit him. Oh, but the flash is so good. But they still haven't cleared the angle. Now spotting him, now dealing with him. That could have been disaster. Somehow Sentinels settle up in numbers with site control and spike planted. Now they turn their attention towards dealing with the attempted retake from Cloud9.
It's a 4v3 though. This is going to be so hard for Cloud9 to execute correctly.
It will be, but they have the utility to do it. They have the mosh pit, they have the dizzy over the top, and they have a thrash. Celsius has already fallen. His move starts to swing out. No contest quite yet. Look at how far Sentinels have taken a step back, vacated everything they had previously taken. See his shock darts go through. Sentinels are going to have to fight back for this. They may have given up a little bit too much space here. It's going to be on Second to get active. He's left in a 1v3 with Blades online. Finds it first, finds a second. Rooney, the only one left standing. It hasn't even been given a half. Second should be able to swing this out. Another clutch for Sentinels.
They're supposed to be fighting back.
Another moment. Just listen to that crowd, man. Cloud9 did a good job of bringing it to a 3v1, but Second, he's been an MVP for this roster so many times. And for reasons like that, and he's just caused Cloud9 himself to make a timeout. So electric in this arena right now. The crowd for Sentinels has been going absolutely wild.
Dre, you and I often talk about how momentum driven this game is and how oftentimes off of a big play, the scales tip away from them. Think about the round that Oxy just had, right? And how easily that could swing back the way of Cloud9 in the face of the crowd, in the face of all the excitement, the energy, what have you. For that response to deliver when it does, I mean, that's just perfect.
And when you got the crowd to back you up as well, it's even more pain for the other team. Because they're hearing that.
Yeah, there's no amount of white noise.
Yeah,
it's no way.
It's an absolute packed arena right now, full of Sentinels fans. Yeah, I'm sure there's some Cloud9 fans in the crowd, but they're getting drowned out right now. And Sentinels are starting to run away with this one. 5-2 right now on attack. Haven.
There's this conception of Cloud9 that it's often Oxy and friends, right? But I will say, when Cloud9 have been at their best, when they've been the most successful, there's somebody else who's fragging alongside him, be it Moose, be it Rooney, be it Zeb, you know, whoever it is. There's somebody there to be a 1-2 punch. The left and the right. I think we need to see someone else step up on the side of Cloud9 here, and they're going to have to do it in the face of all the momentum that Sentinels have amassed.
Yeah, and that's no easy ask whatsoever. Keep in mind, though, this is Cloud9's map pick, so yeah, they didn't get off to a great start because of that eco, that thrifty round from none other than Zekin, of course. But they still are in this. They still have a chance. If they can stop the bleeding now and get some resolve to this half, who knows what they can cook up on attack. Vanity, he's been great with the IGLing role. Honestly, all year long. He's done more than impress me, at least. That's for sure.
What's the plan here for Sentinels? A lean towards A. You've got Tens with his ult.
It's all divergent.
As Zekin dashes out, you see the paranoia drawn out as well, but you're absolutely right. The spike is rotating towards C. The alarm bot out from Garage may cause a problem, though. Instantly, you see the pause for Cloud9 on the minimap, rotating back towards C.
And Zekin heard all of that.
Yeah.
He heard at least 2-3 members in spawn going back to C. This mid-rounding, are they cooking a little too much? There's only 10 seconds left in the round. Breach utility still up right now for the side of Cloud9 and Rooney. There's that fault line. Bomb is not going to get planted.
No, I don't think there's a way for Sentinels to get back in on this. Epoxy over the top and the blades as well as time expires. Yeah, they inserted Zekin, but he never really moved after that. A big round out from Cloud9, yes, in large part to the fact that it may have been overdone from Sentinels, but they capitalized anyway.
Yeah, definitely an overcook from the side of John QT. It seemed like he actually finessed. He out-macroed Cloud9, but ending B in a moment like this, when full utility is still abroad and on board, it's too hard.
Hey, they're scared, baby.
Hey, lock in is the key.
Lock in, baby.
And the thing with this Cloud9 team is you don't want to give them rounds like that because, yeah, when they get momentum, that's when they're the deadliest. And Oxy, he's sitting at 8-6. He's slowly ramping up.
He had a 4K with an op just a couple of rounds ago. Still has it in his hands. And there is some challenge from Sentinels towards A main.
Oh my goodness.
There's a name we haven't talked about.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Sentinels have so many star players. Tyson just sneaks by the radar sometimes himself.
The big shot out there for Oxy. Op hasn't been scooped up quite yet. You imagine that will be the case. How much longer can they conceal Zeppa here?
Yeah, does he get antsy? Does he want to peek? But he's going to get met by opposition.
His freeze is
oh
crazy.
My gosh.
Another one. Now Zeppa getting active. The Dizzy over the top as Zekin dashes into his face. A site wide open.
Really good patience and poise from Sentinels there to just slow the round down, not die to the operator early on, and now it's a 4v2. They get the spike planted basically for free. All 3 of those kills were in A long, and they were holding for that. That was the whole plan. There was a smoke in garage earlier on. John walked in, tried to break an alarm bot if it was there, and that's how they caught all these players of Cloud9 in that transition, trying to get out of there. Oxy, he was about to rotate. Tense. Took his head clean off. So it will be another round the way of Sentinels answering back once more. I think that's something to be said about this match so far. It seems every single time Cloud9 win a round, Sentinels answer back with one of their own, and in convincing fashion.
That push and pull of this game, this time going the way of Sentinels. Also very quickly worth mentioning, Zekin was able to scoop up the op that we saw Oxy drop during that last round. And it wouldn't be the first time this half that we've seen him use it. As we take a look at that one more time. This shot right
oh my goodness. And another one from Zekin, same angle.
Yeah.
At this point, Zeppa, he's just stuck. The fact that he even got a kill there was great work for him, but he's getting overwhelmed. Even if he drops a second there, there's a third, there's a fourth. And now with the attack operator on the battlefield, it's going to be weird. It's going to be weird for Cloud9. They're going to have to use an Omen Smoke in a lobby with the stun, take control of that space. And you imagine Vanity, he's not going to be jump peeking this for too long unless they're not aware that he picked up that operator. And if he's not, he might get punished for it. So
they should.
Yeah.
Given where he died, given how much time was left in the round, you'd imagine that's right here. Not something that they are not privy to.
Let's see, Vanity's still jump spotting this. Now Zekin takes the line. Oh no, maybe Vanity spotted him last second. Where that drone baited him into re-clearing garage.
That drone also baited the paranoia out.
Yep. It's painting the picture for John right now of what the defense fortifications are like for Cloud9.
Sentinels are doing such a good job of starving Cloud9 of any bit of information and just forcing paranoia into their own thoughts.
Oh, and on the minimap right now, I'm seeing a exchange of rifles, so it will be Zekin entering in. He is sitting at 50 HP though. That alarm bot being broken should prompt a speed up from Sentinels. That's why the dash is coming out on sight. Vanity, he just got caught lacking.
The timing of this kid's insane. That's not the first time we see that happen. And so Zekin will fill in, take all of that space with this 46 HP, which he doesn't seem to care about at all. Get the spike down, now they can take a step back.
And yeah, this lockdown comes through, but it's planted for long.
Yeah, they don't have to worry about it at all.
And now Zekin has the operator again. He almost hits that flick.
And the truth is, even if he goes down here, you've got a full army behind him to scoop it up and continue to play into it. There's a really small timing window that Cloud9 have to punish, and it's Oxy leading from the front, trying to cut him down. Meanwhile, John's position here is perfect. As Saucy pops the ult, you know he's being pushed. Moose trying to get active, he will clean him up. John QT not able to settle the shots. That round was not supposed to go that way. Well done by Cloud9.
Oh, 0.77 for Cloud9. And they have a little angel over their shoulder right now because, yeah, John, I mean, he should have connected that spray. But that alarm bot maybe just messing with his sightlines, messing with his crosshair in that moment.
That put right over his head, man.
Yeah, it would have been on point. didn't overflick it. Sachi did a really good job, and yeah, it was just that right there. I wonder if the Killjoy turret actually hit him in the head, and it kind of like knocked his crosshair up. You know, that aim punch? Sure. I wonder if that was the difference maker in that round, because that surely would have went the way of Sentinels if John could have connected those shots.
Round 11, the big stick back in the hands of Oxy. Celsius one away from his Rolling Thunder. John QT not far off from his ult either. You take a look at the defensive setup. There's Killjoy utility littering the middle of the map. And look at all the space Vanity has taken already. Using Cubby. If they try to NC, Oxy's there for the first challenge with the op. Vanity swings out. That's a nightmare.
Oh my gosh, this smoke top C is genius. They're gonna re-clear Vanity now. Vanity gets one though, he's gotta get out.
He's got a paranoia to buy some time. There's really no way for him to get out. He tries to TP, tries to get away, and he's caught off the spam. Oxy joined in on the fray, tried to clean up the mess that was left, and he pays for it with his life as well.
And again, with all that happening, Sachi was in A long by himself, and he heard the players on A rotate off because there's a player top short. I think it was Zeppa. Zeppa made noise running away from A site, so now this is free. 4v3, we've seen this happen before. What can Zeppa do?
The first to join the fray, waiting for reinforcements to arrive, and now is faced with a one-way.
30 seconds left.
That's so miserable.
That spike not being planted yet can work in Cloud9's favor. They might have an opportunity here, but they're gonna have to speed up. Oh, and that paranoia just delays any type of push.
Oh, the paranoia and then the lockdown too. You're forced to sit back.
Yeah, this has got to be a save. By the time you get back in, unless Sentinels make another mistake, there's no way you're winning this round.
No, not with Celsius having his Rolling Thunder as well. But they will try a double swing out. Tenz gets the first 5 HP left. Tucks back. Tries to buy a little bit of time. And that is the biggest difference maker here. 3, 4 for the controllers. Sentinels get to 7.
Last round before the switch. Last round to use our creds and abilities. Don't waste it.
See the replay on that. This was that initial exchange from Vanity. It was a nice kill, but it's just so hard to get out from a spot like that. He really had to commit that Omen ult if he wanted any chance. And that's so hard to do on the fly like that.
Enemy remaining.
And then the post plant utility. Tenz getting 4 to finish the round. Sentinels firing at all cylinders right now, and John needs to be careful here. He might get spammed in window, putting that turret down.
You saw there was certainly an attempt.
Yeah, escapes with his life.
Cloud9 getting active here, taking a bunch of the middle of the map. Vanity off the parano. What's the swing? Oh, they're trapped. They have nowhere to go. They've got the Thrash coming in on one side. They've got a Crunch coming in mid from the other. But John QT was ready, able to punish and get one.
Spike down A.
A disastrous round for Sentinels. What a trap.
That spike down and short as well. It's up to the duo. I mean, they got the mechanical talent to do this, but will Cloud9 give them the opportunities?
A 2v4 here would be something special.
Right there. There's no way you know that Rooney's sitting here in heaven, right?
No. Perched up.
Oh, another Thrash as well.
Like a Guardian looking over the site.
Wait a second.
Seconds on the prowl.
Uh-oh.
He's creeping closer, and I don't think Rooney knows. He turns at just the right time, but Zekin's there to punish.
That's the first, and there's still 40 seconds, Doug.
But they still have to get the spike. I mean, that's going to be the hardest part of this. Look at every other member on the side of Cloud9 staring at the smoke.
30 seconds left.
And Zekin's down to 6 HP. The spams are just a threat. There's certainly no way in. There's certainly no way they make this happen. Vanity with 3 on the round, looking for the 4th, and he will find it. Cloud9 gets to 5.
Yeah, and with the way that this map was going, Sen were in full control, so good job of Sen to bring this one back and keep it competitive. They have a real chance right now on their attacking half. If they can secure the pistol round, who knows?
That trap mid was so cool.
Yeah, both times. Both traps that they had. This one, that first one from earlier in the half with the Breach ultimate that was invested, and Vanity. I mean, he's willing to play up close and dirty in your face with that shorty or a rifle, whatever it may be.
Ever the selfless caller, ever the selfless leader. We're going to throw it down to Akeem at the desk to break down the first half. Akeem, take it away.
So as you can see, C9, they are down, and I'm kind of curious to know, how did Sentinels get to where they are today?
I mean, it all started with the clutches in that half. They had 2 within 3 rounds, I think, to catapult themselves into control. This one from Celsius is what started it all. And I can't help but remember this last game. from Cloud9, where they were giving away some of these late round clutch opportunities, where the trading wasn't quite perfect. And I mean, this in that got given to Sentinels, they used that to get a great half here.
For sure, and it feels like for both sides, they really were down to these clutch moments. But this just being an insane kind of clutch, not able to get it to half for C9 and just being able to swing and get that pick for Sentinels. It's just been so good. And then they always are able to come back to their mid-rounding to kind of solidify and get them into those spots in the first place.
I think Sen did a really good job of shutting Oxy down in some of these mid-rounds. C9 put a lot of resources into getting him on early fights, especially on a map like Haven, and Sen did a good job of shutting that down. Now Cloud9 have that same task in the second half. If Sen can win the pistol, get Zekken and Op online early, that'll give John QT as a caller a ton of options here, which makes Cloud9's life very difficult.
Yeah, both players really putting up a show and putting up a fight to show who is a little bit more aggressive and able to get those picks as the Jet, and both players just playing absolutely phenomenally.
Absolutely, yeah. Mimi, you didn't get your Neon, but I mean, Zekken's been killing it on the Jet. So
I'm happy with how both of these teams have been playing around their Jet. I think Sentinels really well knew the win condition of shutting down Oxy to get into these mid-rounds.
Absolutely. Let's toss things back to the casters for the second half.
Thank you so much, Akeem. Dre, one of the things we didn't mention a ton that is worth talking about is the resilience that Cloud9 showed. Think about the timeline they had. 2 insane clutches the Sentinels pulled off. They get thriftied after winning the pistol. For it to still be 7-5 is very impressive.
Yeah, to be fair, they got a couple of freebies of their own because of Sentinels, you know, specifically in those post plants, you know, most notably that John QT one where he flanked in the garage, couldn't connect that spray. But still, a very competitive half, and yeah, fight back. And it's been tied up in first blood so far, so let's see if Oxy on this attacking side or Zekken on this defensive side can really take it away for any of their squads.
Mimi mentioned one of the win conditions for the defensive side would be getting Zekken online and active early, getting it out of his hands and letting John call. That's an excellent start. Not only that, it's Oxy and Rooney that are down. All of the go is gone.
Bomb grenade out.
I spoke about the first bloods being a deciding factor in this next half and closing out this map for either side, and it was Zekken who stood up to the plate. And man, he batted 100% on those shots. That was crazy.
And so now Cloud9 on their back foot, trying to figure out where do they go from here? How do they approach the rest of this pistol?
It would take some grave mistakes, and already a dink on the moves from John sitting in that A connector. That spike does not get planted, and it's on the side of Sentinels. Oh!
Well, if they keep swinging into him like that, they might be able to pull this thing off. Zeppa having to go forward, tries to clear the smoke, and just waltzes into his death.
Nice work, all off the back of Zekken. Again, I imagine we're going to see a replay of those shots. Those are some really clean shots. The follow-up, that was the one that was the nastiest. Forget that he drops Oxy with this first shot, right? It's this one that's so impressive. On the wide swing, 2 players already dialed in on your angle, and you're still going to hit that and get out of dodge with that Jet. So quick. Crosshair placement, absolutely on point.
Not a whole lot you can do there. 13-8, and now an outlaw in hand.
Ooh.
Make that 14.
Another one up onto Oxy. In this case, obviously, gun advantage the way of Sentinels. It is their buy round. Their anti-eco. Oxy, he tried. He had to hit a headshot if he wanted to do that, and he had that opportunity to, but just couldn't step up.
They're going to try to pounce out onto C anyway. They continue to feed the outlaw. They continue to feed the beast that is Zekken. Rooney with no real choice, no real place to go. Will fall again. Sentinels get to 9.
And on top of that, only a stinger dropped.
Yeah.
So Sentinels going into this first buy round for Cloud9. They have a healthy buy.
You can take a look at it one more time. These kills are, I mean, you look at them and you go, yeah, it was an eco, yeah, it was an outlaw, sure. But again, I want to call back to what Mimi was saying on the desk. Getting an op in the hands of Zekken as early as possible is so pivotal to the success of Sentinels here. Not just because you've got an op in the hands of your star, but because it allows John to call the game the way he wants. This kid is so good.
Don't need an operator when you got the Outlaw. It's basically a pocket op at this point with the way this kid's using it.
This would be a disastrous round for Cloud9 to lose here.
Bomb grenade out.
It's a good molly from Moose to get rid of that alarm bot. I believe it was pulled back by John right in time, and oh my goodness.
It's not getting any better, Dre. It's not getting any better.
One enemy remaining.
It's all under Rooney.
Down
He doesn't have the spike. This meltdown is catastrophic.
I mean, what were Cloud9 supposed to do in this round? Like, tell me. I feel like most of the kills, nice one tap from Rooney. Good follow up by Tens. But the crowd could. But yeah, most of the kills in this round were through a wall or by players that were blind. I mean, look at this. Vanity, no chance. Look at this for Moose, no chance. And look at this. Stunned, flash, no chance. And you can't really make that one up.
No. That's no all momentum the way of Sentinels. And remember, the one difference that I'm seeing here compared to the first half was when Cloud9 got pushed, they punched back. Yes, it was Oxy. Yes, it was Moose. Rudy had a big moment there, but it doesn't seem like it's happening at all here in the second half.
Yeah, hopefully this timeout, last timeout for Cloud9 is a wake-up call to bring it back, at least make it kind of relatively close on their map pick of Haven. But like I said, the way that last round went, that could be really tilting for a team. I mean, no one really had a chance right there. Vanity, yeah, like he saw him for a second in short, but to get wallbang with both shots,
that's so frustrating.
It's frustrating. And then yeah, Moose, he knows he has to make a play, do something. He mollied that alarm bot early on, so I don't blame him for trying to take that timing front B. And then he goes up against a John QT who's just spraying him with a bulldog through a wall.
It's a tough spot to be in. Second, one away from having his blades out while still in hand, now with full armor. Meanwhile, if you take a look at Cloud9 and what tools they have at their disposal, a couple of stingers make that 3 now, and Zeppa has his ult. Given the deficit they're facing, Dre, I don't know if that's something you want to be cautious on pulling the trigger on. If there's an opportunity, you have to strike.
Yeah, a first blood would be great for the way of Cloud9, but I'm looking at Zekin with this Outlaw against 4 players that have light armor.
Yeah.
And I just think he's going to have a feast. I mean, he might be sitting on this gun for the rest of the half.
What a setup. A fault line, a dart, and then Zekin.
Another wallbang, no chance for Rudy. He's eliminated without seeing an opponent.
He's just not allowed to play the game.
Oh yeah! Monster on the loose.
Oh, we're investing the Thrash in a 4v5. It does give you a free sight and a connection.
Oxy goes aggressive, follows.
Wow.
Path that was left. John QT falls, a weapon upgraded. Still has 880 damage. Tens over the top, dropping Oxy. It just looks so easy. I mean, can Cloud9 respond? The Vandal that they had has been dropped. Second with blades online. They're not finding lethality, but he stays alive. Celsius might just clean this thing up on its own. Sentinels get to 11. The slaughter is in full effect.
I hate to say it, but probably best to play as a team. So, what's the plan?
Tens played that round to perfection, Doug. He was sitting on the top of C. He didn't panic when everyone was splitting him from Garage. There's a player along. He dodges the Omen Flash, gets his kill. And this is the Tens that I like the most. He got out and survived for Celsius to come and support and clean up house. It was beautifully played. This is why this Sentinels roster has been so good as of this year. And honestly, a little bit of last year. I say that we're going straight into a C hit. Shouldn't be much opposition to be faced here. But it's the disciplined game and approach from all these players that you would think, you know, Tens, he's the star player. He likes to go out, do crazy things. The discipline from him has been so superb this year, and that's why he's been playing so good.
Keep an eye on John. His positioning there is gorgeous.
Even a follow-up Omen Flash if needed. John, so confident to take that angle.
That's 2 on the round for the caller already. Second on the swing. Is dead. I don't think I've seen that guy lose a gunfight in a really long time. Of course, as I say that, he falls, but it's still all success for Sentinels.
Absolutely running away with this match. Running away with this map. And what's the next map, Doug? It's Split, one of Sentinel's best maps. One of the best teams I've ever seen play that map in the game, period.
This was close for a half. It's just been all Sentinels all the way from that point on.
Yeah, that break that they took, it was much needed. They look fully motivated, in full effect, full force.
5 rounds in a row for the defensive side, and they've done it their own way. They've been able to lean into the financial boom that they have. They've been able to run trap plays and spawn. This has just been so clean.
4 players converging onto A main right now. Vanity needs to get out of here and get out of here quick. Otherwise, that's no smokes available.
With no real idea of what could be waiting on the other side. Still manages to rotate away. The smoke is going to be out towards garage. JeanQT still in the same position, still trying to deal the same amount of damage. Leaves Moose with a brutal headache.
He's going to get caught out here as well. Oh, some movement heard, so Moose could have the upper hand, but leave it to John to reposition and re-clear Moose.
It was off of the noise that he heard him spawn. It's just so effortless. It's such a smooth dance. And so now Sentinels will try to rotate over. The Rolling Thunder's going to push them back, though. JeanQT getting dropped, decapitated. But Sasi's doing the best of his own. Rooney's left alone. How in the world do you win a 1v4 in the face of that? You cannot. What a stomp, what a slaughter. Sentinels obliterate Cloud9 on Haven. And of course, Zelsis is out of his seat.
Defenders win.
Okay, now I know what he said previously. He said, "You are my sons." That's what that man is saying on stage right now.
Ever the showman is Zelsis. Ever the team is Sentinels. What a dominant performance. All smiles, still plenty of work left to be done, but you mentioned it, Dre. They're heading over to Split, and that is their map. That is their playground. One of the most formidable teams on that arena. And somehow Cloud9 are going to have to figure out, with short memory, how they forget this. 13-5, the wave Sentinels. Second popped off. JeanQT popped off. All Sentinels all the way. We'll see you guys on the other side of this break. Don't go anywhere.
Hey guys, it's Jimmy Lin. In this series, I'm going to walk you through attack on Pearl. Watch out for the stairs, clear this angle. You're going to be able to fight this.
Red Bull gives you wings.